Hi all, happy Monday. Checking out another sweater again. I think I'm going to keep this one too as long as it lasts. A few washes, it'll probably go. So, but yes, it still fits. Go me. But that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about today is the stuff that happened with the Anthem VIP demo that turned out to not be very VIP, I guess you could say. But if I seem little bit down, it's because I used to be a huge Bioware fan, and now I am significantly less of a Bioware fan because, you know, when Bioware was acquired by EA, a lot of people said, well, that's it. And I was one of those people who were like, no, I'm going to hold out hope. Bioware used to be my absolute favorite video game company. And it looks like the people who, you know, predicted the creeping death of Bioware because it would become more EA than Bioware, it's seeming more and more like they were correct because the foobar that was this weekend has the stamp of EA all over it. For people who don't know what happened, you're probably not watching this video. But just in case you're watching it and you want to know kind of what happened, don't take my word for it. Here's the Bioware blog. Who is this guy? BioWare's head of live service, meaning the online multiplayer dude. This is what he says the problems were over the weekend. Platform connections. This was caused by the spike in players entering the game when we opened up. Unfortunately, these issues did not present themselves during our internal testing. Investigate, blah, 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 blah. This is the one where I go, what? What do you mean you didn't underestimate server loads? This is what they tried to say, that it absolutely was not under planning for server capacity. But if people can't connect because of a spike, you're really mincing words to say that it wasn't a spike in server capacity. Perhaps technically it's not, but for people playing, it's the same problem. If you underestimated the spike in people entering and the problem that would cause, that is underestimating capacity in one way or another. But moving on. Entitlements. I love that access codes are now called entitlements. Oh my God, that is such corporate speak. But entitlements, these are account flags that grant players things like their pre-order incentives and demo access. During the demo weekend, we identified a bug where VIP players with a specific combination of entitlements were being blocked from accessing the demo. They believe they've resolved these issues. That is an inexcusable mistake that may not be Bioware. It may be EA's origin system. Either way, yikes. And 3, infinite loads. This is occurring for some players, particularly when they transition from Fort Tarsis to an expedition. We saw this only in isolated cases during internal testing and believe it was resolved. Unfortunately, the problem is exacerbated in the real world where differences with players, ISPs, and home networks induce new behavior. So to parse that, because I am Lee 3PO, human techie relations, that means we knew there was a bug. We thought we fixed it, but the bug was still there. And they say, and this is the other thing where it wasn't our server, but here's their top priorities. They didn't underestimate server load, but number 3 is improving the server performance. I don't buy it. Continue to resolve any reports of issues with login and entitlement problems. Implement fixes to address infinite loads. Look, I want to be upfront that this is a difficult one and something we may not resolve during this weekend. Many players are not seeing this issue, and the last thing we want to do is destabilize the experience for everyone. And that right there, I will say, based on what I know, is a vulnerability in the Frostbite engine. What I've heard from people who have had to work with the Frostbite engine is that a big vulnerability it has is because so many people can access it at once. You fix one thing, you can end up breaking 20 things. So I do, if people who are going, oh, come on, how can you not fix it? it is possible with the Frostbite engine that you can destabilize the experience for everyone by trying to fix a problem that a few people are experiencing. Now, this has nothing to do with hardware on people's computers. I want to be clear. Some people were saying that this proves that BioWare doesn't care about the PC experience. I actually got to do some direct fact gathering over the weekend. Thanks, Twitter. But one guy he was keeping me up to date. He tried to get on 8 times, kept getting infinite load screens just trying to get into the game to begin with. And he was playing on a PS4 Pro. So it wasn't even a PC, it was a PS4 Pro. Now, the issues that some people had with the VIP demo, I'm going to call it a beta, because that's what VIP demos are, closed betas. What are you doing, EA? Don't call something VIP and then have it stand for very irritating poo as opposed to user experience. Some people have said that the game experience itself was very binary. The choices were basically not even Paragon or Renegade. They were basically nice or asshole, and that was the option you got. Other people said the game was actually pretty good, technical issues aside. So experiences are mixed regarding non-technical issues, the actual design of the game. So I just wanted to report that. I want to dig deeper than this. The game is coming out next month. You saw that big before. They are claiming this is an old build, which is very possible. A lot of demos have to branch off from the development of the rest of the game because they want to get it polished and working on its own. That is highly possible. But usually those demos are 6 months from release, 3 months from release. This game is coming out next month. I think that was a huge mistake. I think they should have done a closed beta, an invitation-only closed beta, much quicker, much earlier, based on the well-known development issues plaguing, at least the rumors of development issues, confirmed, plaguing Anthem. They should have given them more time. If it was any company but EA, they would have pushed it back. They would have delayed this for a month so that, the game actually works at launch. A month is not a lot of time to get these problems fixed. And the fact that part of the problem was EA's own entitlement system. This just shows how out of touch EA is, that they call something entitlements with the whole gamers are entitled thing. My God, EA, who is in charge of your branding? Who is in charge of your internal branding and marketing? Like, seriously, entitlements? I'm digressing. Here's the issue with Anthem right now. The rollout has been objectively terrible. Every time EA has tried to create hype for this title in sort of a mass way, either E3 or this VIP demo, closed beta, it's been terrible. It has been messy and janky and not ready for prime time. If you guys missed the rollout at E3, the voices were wooden. It seemed extremely rehearsed, and all they kind of did the whole time was fly around. We finally got to a big monster and cut at the EA event. It was mostly people talking, which was terrible. Now, I want to be clear. Demos don't have to be perfect. Betas, that's the thing. They called it a VIP demo instead of a closed beta. When people hear closed beta, they come into it with the idea there's going to be bugs. The Red Dead Redemption team did, gold standard of communicating with the player base. They're like, guys, it's going to be broken at first. Be prepared for it to be broken. And everybody's like, okay, they're telling us it's going to be broken. Bring on the broken. I'm going to go find the broken. That's how you manage expectations and manage community. EA did not do this. I don't know if it's predominantly BioWare's internal team or EA, the EA overlords. But when you've got an online-only multiplayer game where the problem is it doesn't talk to various ISPs well, you have a big problem because the only way someone can access your game is through an ISP. The bigger problem, because you can have a rough launch and then fix it and people come back to it and okay, it's okay. These online-only multiplayer games are games as services anyway. But the bigger problem with Anthem is based on what I've seen, there is nothing terribly special about it. It looks to me like the exploration segments of Mass Effect games, only more tunneled and more of a Destiny clone. And the thing about taking on Destiny, this is the exact same damn mistake that EA made with the Old Republic. At least it's a new IP this time and not, rest in peace KOTOR, which pissed people off even more because KOTOR was a great series. But you take a studio that is known for a really good single-player RPG experience, you make them step out of their comfort zone to try to be a giant killer. In the case of the Old Republic, it was EA's attempt to be a clapback to WoW. In this case, it's EA trying to go head-to-head with Destiny. And are you on crack? Whenever something becomes that big a cultural phenomenon, Minecraft, World of Warcraft, Destiny, I'm blanking, Fortnite, how can I forget Fortnite? You stay away from it. It gobbles up all the things, unless you're a game that is out before something becomes a huge craze, like, Overwatch and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds had the ability to build up their own fan base. You don't take on a game like Destiny because everybody's already playing Destiny. They don't want to step away from that experience to learn something new that's not as good an experience with a smaller player base and they don't have all their loot. And let's face it, Destiny, and people are going to get mad at me, but hear me out. Chill. Don't get triggered. Destiny isn't a huge phenomenon because it's a fantastic game, technically. Destiny 1 was a hot mess story-wise. Destiny 2 gets, shit broken all the time. They had that, the Black Armory, where it was a puzzle that nobody could solve, and they finally unlocked it for everybody because, oops, we made it way too hard. I've seen online solutions to that puzzle. I still can't figure it out, and I'm a systems-oriented person. I love puzzles, and that shit was off the chain even for me. So it's not that Destiny has had a 100% record. Every time they rebalance, they screw shit up. What did they completely make the hunters useless for a while? I don't remember the exact things, but I'm like, the number of we'll fix it that Bungie has had to do, and then they killed Cade, which I assume is a massive mistake, unless it was just because Nathan Fillion can't do the voice anymore. Although I thought Nolan North did an all right job subbing in. Anyway, Destiny is a huge game because it's technically great. It's a huge phenomenon because it has characters like Cade 6, and Bungie does community extremely well. I mean, Activision blew a ton of money on advertising, which didn't hurt, but all the advertising in the world can't save a game that doesn't communicate with its player base and make them feel like they're listening. And Bungie is extremely good with that, which is why I think that Bungie is going to be more than okay separating from Activision. I am very excited to see what they do with the Destiny property. Now they don't have Activision like looming over them like this giant parasitic mothership camped on their head. Very, very interesting. BioWare has not had that relationship with EA. EA, like the best metaphor, ironically, for EA as a video game company is the the Reapers, the collectors in Mass Effect, the way they just like consume a whole race and create this giant monster that just, it's like the Borg meets the, oh my god, Sentinels from X-Men. Yeah, I mean, that is EA as a company. It's not that they parasite onto the host. They consume the whole host race. And they might create this, you know, shell that resembles Visceral or Bioware or something like that, but it is no longer that company. It has been assimilated. And so there isn't the goodwill, no matter how many like rabid EA fan children, I won't say fanboys because there are a lot of EA fangirls too, and everything in between and beyond. We're not going to be gender binary here. EA fans. But, you know, the EA fans that are in those not E3 events, even though it's right outside E3, they just will take anything you throw at them and go, yeah! And that was a complete opposite to what the EA pressers used to be at E3. But the thing that has me most concerned, not only is BioWare once again working outside its comfort zone and trying to kill a giant that nobody can kill. You try to kill a game like WoW or Destiny, you only make it stronger because people go, oh, wow, I don't like this as much as WoW, or oh, wow, I don't like this as much as Destiny. Back to WoW or Destiny. But the timing of this is awful because single-player RPG experiences have never been hotter. There was a period where everything was a shooter, and, you know, Mass Effect was a product of that. They tried to fuse single-player RPG with kind of a tactical VAT-style shooter system with the biotics from Mass Effect. That's okay. You want to add elements of it, but you've got to have that strong single-player experience. They promised that with the Old Republic, but it didn't hold a candle to what people got in KOTOR. I still think the single-player experience in the Old Republic was all right, but I admit that it was diluted compared to what we're used to, what we've come to expect from BioWare games. But now, with, you know, The Witcher 3 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey being, you know, people love those games, now is the time to come out with a really great single-player RPG experience and remind everybody that there's a reason that BioWare was once the industry standard for Western RPGs. And they're not doing that. They're coming out with a crappy Destiny clone. And the bigger problem for me, the biggest, is that this is BioWare Edmonton here. If when I looked it up, it's correct. It might be crossed back and forth, but this is BioWare Edmonton, not BioWare Austin. I mean, BioWare Austin, we all know that's been like a hot mess from the jump. But Edmonton? Holy crap. Edmonton usually doesn't falter like this. And I guess this is what you get when you don't want to rush another Dragon Age game. I don't know. Like, I forgive them for going, we never want to do Dragon Age 2 ever again. And so they're doing Anthem instead. And if Mass Effect Andromeda hadn't been a turkey, it sold fine, apparently, but it's the first BioWare game I haven't finished ever. Like, ever. I mean, I've got a Baldur's Gate, original Baldur's Gate box. That is the original game behind that skull there. I've played through that game more times than I can count. They're long games, but I finished all of them. I think I even have Jade Empire. Yeah, I have Jade Empire down there too. You can't see it from my chair, but you know, I was a BioWare hardcore back in the day, but you know, Andromeda sucked. It wasn't just technically janky, it sucked. It was a boring experience. It was not immersive at all. It was too cute by half, and it just didn't work. But now they have 2 in a row. And I'm really concerned, unless they have some sort of deal with the devil with EA that I am not privy to, they may not get a chance to do the next Dragon Age game, because 2 failures in a row, a lot of game companies don't get that. So unless they have some sort of guarantee from EA that no matter what happens, they're going to get to do Dragon Age 4, I'm really worried. And EA doesn't tend to make those deals, or if they do, they don't stick by them. So that's my big concern. Also, David Gator's gone from the Dragon Age franchise. He moved over to Beamdog. You know, rumor is he's making Baldur's Gate 3. And he'll be happy as a pig in shit, but the Dragon Age franchise will suffer because he really was the one keeping that ship righted. And without him, I'm afraid it's just going to fly apart into a bunch of competing social justice. They are going to make the things that were previously sort of mythic storytelling and the morals, if you will, sort of came naturally out of the plot and the characters. It's going to be less that, which worked really well, and they could tackle a whole bunch of different subjects in a way that didn't feel lecture-y. I think it's going to feel more like Andromeda, where we're going to do politically correct Krogans. What can possibly go wrong? Anyway, that's my big concern, and I hope to be wrong. I really hope to be wrong. But if they do get another... the thing is, I think at this point, to summarize, it doesn't matter if Anthem's any good at launch or not. It's got to come back from a huge marketing and PR deficit. And I don't know what's worse. If the game is actually crap at launch, and then it's at least fair, or if it's actually decent at launch. The way The Old Republic was a decent game, not great. The biggest problem with it was its monetization model. Nobody wanted to buy another subscription. But the stink on it was already so bad that, you know, the tastemakers in gaming just didn't play it. It wasn't cool to play it. And unfortunately, the game's hype machine is heavily dependent on trends. People want to play the cool thing. Nobody wants to stand up for sort of a loser title. So I'm afraid this game may be dead on arrival of the 1-2 punch of a really bad rollout and Mass Effect Andromeda being junk. It's kind of the same way that, you know, what was it? Batman Begins? The first Christopher Nolan Batman after the Schumacher travesties. That was a really great movie, but it didn't make the money the Dark Knight Returns. God, the names are so nonsensical. But it didn't make the money that the Batman movie with Heath Ledger made, because it had to repair the brand. And Anthem is in the unenviable position of having to repair the Bioware brand when it doesn't even seem to be able to repair itself. So I'll leave it there. Looking forward to your comments. Are you going to play Anthem? Are you going to give it a chance? Are you going to keep an open mind despite these stumbles? Did you play the closed beta? I mean, VIP demo? Let me know. I'm curious about what your experiences are. Oh, I forgot to do my shilling. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. I do not get copies of games. I do not get paid to do this kind of stuff. Your support is what allows me to do this stuff. Thanks for watching.